What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Summer Career Mode. This is episode number 10, and we're starting today's episode off on the back of back-to-back wins against West Ham and Fulham in London derbies, right now in 11th place in the table with the third round of the FA Cup coming against Barnsley. But just before we get to that game there at Oakwell, taking on a side right now just above the bottom three in the Championship, we had a couple of bids for two of our older players. Nathaniel Klein from Hoffenheim, and also Jordan Ayew from Aston Villa. And this was really interesting because at the start of the save, I talked about how when it comes down to transfers, both signings and sales need to be what you'd call relatively realistic, or, you know, as close as we can get it to that based on the fact FIFA Career Mode can at times be really unrealistic. And obviously, I mentioned it, I wasn't really planning to sell too many players in Season 1, if any at all, really. And I mentioned in the last episode, the January window opening, I didn't really plan on doing anything noteworthy at all. But for Jordan Ayew, we've barely played him this season. He has spent quite a bit of time on the sidelines through injury as well. I much prefer Rak-Sakyi, our reserve winger. We've got enough depth on the flanks as well. And because the bid came from Aston Villa, I decided to negotiate with Steven Gerrard, and we negotiated a £4 million deal. Obviously, the Klein deal is always going to fall through, though. I just can't see him lining up for Hoffenheim somehow. But for Jordan Ayew, that didn't seem unrealistic to me, and the reason being is very simple. Well, he's played for Aston Villa. He spent 2 years at Villa Park. We're going back a few years now. But even so, Jordan Ayew has spent time at Villa Park before, and we often do see nowadays quite a lot of senior players will return to former clubs from their past. So for Jordan Ayew, if Steven Gerrard wanted him, mid-table Premier League side, so he's not going to an unrealistic destination. And again, he's played for them before, so to me it didn't seem too unrealistic to sell him back to a club he's already had previous experience with. So yeah, negotiate a £4 million deal with Steven Gerrard. Ayew is off to Villa Park, and again, we don't really use him at all. He obviously broke his toe earlier on in the season. We haven't used him that much at all this year. And again, we've got Zaha on the left, Elise on the right, Ize's on the bench, and I've got Rak-Sakyi, the youngster, who, as you know, I really like as well. So Ayew is like 5th choice winger, 30 years old, not going to get any better. I'm okay letting him go. I'm totally fine selling him in this January window because, again, he's going to a team he's played for before, so it's not what you call very unrealistic at all. I'm happy with that. I don't mind that one bit. Even so, for the first game of today's episode, yes, it was indeed Barnsley away at Oakwell. Championship side, just above the drop zone right now in the second tier, in the third round of the FA Cup. And heading into the game, obviously this season we'd asked to reach the last 16 of the FA Cup. We had a decent run in the Carabao Cup, only losing to Brighton on penalties in the last 16. I'd like to do the same in the FA Cup as well. The Premier League is our priority, but a good cup run would be quite nice. So taking on the Championship side here, I did field a few backup players for the game, but it was still quite a strong lineup, to be fair. Conor Gallagher scored our first of the game to open the scoring, and then just past Yalmark, Elise makes it 2-0. And again, this is why I don't think I'm going to miss Jordan Ayew at all. Elise, Ize, Zaha, the youngster Rak-Sakyi. Yeah, I think we're alright on the flanks, to be honest. I don't really need Jordan Ayew. So, yeah, Elise makes it 2-0. That would surely do the job there. And then with 4 minutes to go, a chance to make it 3. A Brecci down the right-hand side, rolls it across, and Conor Gallagher, my goodness. I mean, that should have been his brace. I don't know how I missed the target from there, but I did. But really, it was all one-way traffic all game long, really. Barnsley had one chance in the first half. Other than that, it was all Crystal Palace. Stoppage time, I thought, am I going to mess this one up as well? As you'll see, the answer was no. Once again, the reason why I don't feel we'll miss Jordan Ayew. Rak-Sakyi, the youngster, to a Brecci Ize, who makes it 3. Final score at Oakwell, 3-0, and really could have been a bigger scoreline there. Absolutely dominated from start to finish for the most part, and got the job done very comfortably indeed. So there we go, through to the 4th round of the FA Cup, into the last 32. And again, a cup run would be nice this season because, you know, qualifying and finishing in a European place, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. There is a definite chance we could potentially pull it off, but it will be very hard to do that. If we were going to qualify for Europe, we'd probably need to win the FA Cup. I don't know which one's more likely, really, but for the 4th round, last 32, we have got a London derby away at Craven Cottage against the newly promoted Premier League side in Fulham. See that Manchester United versus Liverpool tasty tie there. But yeah, Fulham away, another London derby. So yeah, I'd like a good cup run, you know. Imagine reaching Wembley in Season 1. And if you watch my Realistic Career Mode with Southampton and another team, I won't spoil it for you if you haven't watched it so far, but it's on my channel playlist if you want to go check it out after this one. You know, we had great runs in the FA Cup with Southampton and also the EFL Cup as well. In fact, we actually reached a cup final, I believe, every single season of the save. I think that's right. We definitely got to Wembley every single season to save, so if I could repeat it in this one, I'd absolutely love it. I guess I'll have to wait and see. Fulham away at Craven Cottage in the last 32. Even so, Ayew's deal has been completed, so he's back to Aston Villa to play under Steven Gerrard. Again, because he's played there before, I didn't think it was too unrealistic. You know, if it was a club which would make no sense, then obviously I probably would have kept him for the realism, at least in Season 1. But because he's played for Aston Villa before, and again, it is a mid-table side, just like ours, but, you know, probably considered to have slightly more ability than us at this current point right now, I didn't think it was too unrealistic for a player that doesn't get much game time and would still feel he's got something left in the tank, if you will. So that, to me, kind of made a lot of sense. But even so, he's gone to Aston Villa for £4 million. I don't really know what we'll do with it, though, to be honest, because, again, at the moment, we've got around 11.5 million in the budget, possibly a little bit more than that. I don't know what to do with it, though. It's really strange at the moment, because it's like, you know, I'm trying to do things, again, primarily realistically, so I don't want to just go and sign a wonder kid, you know, because it makes no sense. But I wouldn't mind bringing in a signing for the squad. I guess we'll wait and see. There's still a couple of weeks to go before the transfer window slams shut. I am doing some scouting. I have got quite a few players still on my shortlist. Maybe, possibly, a new centre-half for the future, because we know we've got James Tomkins, Joel Ward and Koyate as well. They're all in their 30s as our backup CBs. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But still, for the second game of today's episode here, Brighton away, derby between these two clubs, of course, and let's just say we've got a taste of our own medicine in this game right here. What is it about Brighton and late goals? Remember our first meeting earlier in the season? We scored with the final kick of the game to win it 1-0. Then in the EFL Cup last 16, they scored a final kick of the game to force a shootout, which they then won. And then in this game, third straight game, there's a basically final kick of the game goal as Brighton win it through Sanchez in stoppage time 2-1. Shame as well, as Zaha scored a brilliant solo goal, and I really shouldn't have lost this game. You see the stats here, really, I should have at least, at the very, very least, got a point in the end, failed to get anything. But yeah, what is that about Brighton and late goals? 3 straight games against them where there's been a goal with basically the final kick of the game. First, us scoring a winner in the reverse fixture, then them scoring that leveller in the EFL Cup last 16 to force a shootout, which they then won, and then in that game as well, winning it with a final kick. Crazy, right? But even so, speaking of unrealistic sales here, James Tomkins wanted by Trabzonspor, and James McCarthy wanted by Levante. You know, again, I said at the start of this save, I'd be more than happy selling these guys. Perhaps not in Season 1, but definitely Season 2 onwards. But the destination's got to be realistic. We had bids from Southampton and Wolves and McCarthy at the start of the season. I have decided to keep him for the rest of the campaign, though. I'm not going to sell James McCarthy in this window, I don't think, because he has signed a 1-year extension in real life. I think it'd be more realistic to keep him as well. And I like him, to be fair, as a squad central midfielder. But as for James Tomkins, I'm not against selling him, but Trabzonspor, I just don't see it. I really don't. So once again, you know, the realistic destinations need to be a thing. I can't see James Tomkins jetting off to Turkey. You know, I was in Turkey back in March and April. Very nice indeed, Istanbul I went to, but I can't see James Tomkins playing his final years in Turkey. You never know, I might have proved wrong, but I just don't see it really. Someone like Sheffield United, yeah, absolutely, but Trabzonspor, not too sure about that one. Even so, for the final game of today's episode, Liverpool at Selhurst Park, heading into this game here against Jurgen Klopp's side, on the back of the disappointing defeat to Brighton. They're aiming to make amends. Obviously, our record at home this season is far superior to away, so even when we do take on a side with much more quality than us, if we are in South East London, I fancy our chance of getting something from the game, whoever we're facing. And whilst we did fall behind early, Elise levelled it for us, put us back on level terms, and in the second half here, not much to report really until the 70th minute. Brilliant save by Gaita here though, kept it at 1-1 as we were still tied, and I felt as though there was going to be a winner as well. Both teams were pushing for it, both teams not content with the 1-1 draw, going for those 3 points, Liverpool being a better team, but us having that great home record this season. Golden chance for Zaha to give us the winner late on, and well, he's been our player of the season this year despite the injury, and I don't know how on earth failed to hit the target there. Weaker left foot, but even so, blazed that into orbit, still 1-1, and the final chance fell 5 minutes to go. Mateta gets round his man Van Dijk, offloads to Ebiowe, the youngster off the bench, back to Mateta. His shot though goes wide of the post. Final score at Selhurst Park 1-1, and I'll take it. I'll take that every day of the week. Our home form has been mightily impressive this season. Yes, I do target to win all my home games because that's where we play best at this season, but got Liverpool, one of the best teams in the world. I'll take a draw every day of the week. Not a bad whatsoever. Guy to bail me out a couple of times. Yep, I'll take the 1-1 draw there. That's not a bad result against Jurgen Klopp's side. So 1-1 the final score. I'll take the point. And whilst we did lose to Brighton and we pick up 1 point from our last 6 possible in the Premier League, right now into the FA Cup 4th round, 15 games to go, and we're still exactly where we want to be as we close out January. 11th place, mid-table, and still a chance at finishing the top 10. I'll take it every day of the week. But that will end today's episode of the Realistic Summer Career, guys. By the way, what is going on with Arsenal right now? Only about to drop on goal difference, crazy. We'll end today's episode, though, guys. Have a great day, much love to you, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Summer Career Mode very soon.